Alright guys, welcome back. Brian Peacock, Growing Cannabis MD. Just wanted to show you guys a good fertilizer that I use. I really like this fertilizer. I use this in my garden, outside for my vegetables as well. This Dr. Earth is all organic, and it is really good stuff. Alright, I don't only use this, I'll use worm castings as well, some organic teas and compost teas and such. Sometimes I'll use some blood meal and bone meal, and some silica dust in my grows. I experiment with different nutrients and micronutrients just to see what does better, but this really works well and it's very easy to use. This particular one here, you use 2 heaping tablespoons per gallon of your pot. So these are 3-gallon pots. We're going to use 6 heaping tablespoons per pot. We will massage it into the top of the soil and we will water, and we will do that once a month. Or you can break it down in half and do 1 heaping tablespoon per container, which would be 3 heaping tablespoons once every 2 weeks. Alright, and you can also make compost teas out of this by putting it into a bucket of water, using an aerator stone, like a fish aquarium aerator stone, putting it in there, letting it sit for about 24 to 48 hours. You want all these bubbles that are coming up out of it. You know, that's when the bacteria is starting to grow. That's the good stuff. And then you can dilute it down to probably 50-50 or maybe even 75-25 water to compost tea, and water your plants with that as well. Works really well. This one here is for the vegetative growth time before the flower. This has the calcium and magnesium in it. It's important for the grow. This here is the Flower Girl organic, and this one is for the bloom stage or the flowering stage. This has the bloom boosters in it and the bud boosters in it. You can see here, fertilizers always have 3 numbers on them. First one is always nitrogen. Second one is always phosphorus. Third one is always potash or potassium. Alright, so when you are growing vegetative growth, normally you want a higher first number than the rest. Alright, that nitrogen is what gives you growth. It makes your plants green. The second number is the phosphorus, and that is for flowering. That is for rooting, good roots and good flowers, for that second one there. The third one is the potash or potassium, and this one fights diseases and helps the plant stay healthy. All of these are your major nutrients that you will need, not counting your micronutrients. Micronutrients, there's a bunch of them, being like magnesium, copper, iron, calcium. There's all kinds of them. So I can get a list of those together for you on another video. We'll go over all the nutrients in another video. So the flowering, you want that second number to get up higher a little bit, and you want a little less of the nitrogen. So we come over here, you see this one is a 4-6-3, which that 6 is still a little high, but this promotes good root growth. So I really do like this. Come over here and look. You can see that that first one dropped down 1, and that second one went up, and that third one went up too. So we went up 3% here, we went up 1% here, and went down 1% there for the bloom boosters there. So that's the in a nutshell your flowering and your vegetative fertilizers. There's tons of fertilizers out there that work great. Nitrogen is nitrogen, phosphorus is phosphorus, and potassium is potassium. It doesn't matter which way you get it, if it's synthetic or if it's organic, it all does the same. Only difference, synthetic nutrients are salt-based. They are sulfates, they call them. So they are salt-based, like nitrogen sulfate, potassium sulfate, phosphorus sulfate, magnesium sulfate. That's magnesium sulfate is basically Epsom salt, is what that is. And that's also another great fertilizer to add into your mix. So that really helps green up things too, and that is just magnesium and sulfur is what that is, and they are two micronutrients that are needed as well. Micronutrients aren't needed as much as your major nutrients, but without them you will have deficiencies. And there is charts and everything that I'm going to put together on another, when we get into the nutrients. I'll have charts that tell you what every little nutrient does for the plant and how to identify those deficiencies. So you can tell exactly what your plant is telling you, what it needs. That is the way that you grow good plants. Doesn't matter what plant you're growing. Understanding the plant and being able to understand what it's telling you that it needs is all you need to know to be successful in growing. So we're going to have all that coming for you. This was just a crash course in the fertilizers here, and this one's a really easy one to use. One more thing before we go: synthetic fertilizers. You will need to pH your water every time. Okay, that is very important. They will throw the pH of your water out by mixing them in the water. Take like Fox Farm line, the Trio. You have a 3-bottle Trio thing that you can use, and you mix them all in the water when it's feeding time. And what it does is it makes your pH like go down to like 2 or 3. It makes it really acidic, which you want your pH to continuously be between 5.5 and 7 with this. You do not want to go below 5.5, and you do not want to go over 7, okay, with the cannabis. Tomatoes and just about all your other vegetables are pretty much about the same. So unless you're growing blueberries and azaleas and things that really like acidic soils, you want to keep that just below the neutral line on the pH, which is 7. pH goes from 0 to 14. 0 being acidic, 14 being alkaline. 7 right in the middle is neutral. So we want it just slightly acidic. Right about the 6.2 to 6.5 range is about optimal for growing organic living soils. If you're growing in coco coir, then you might want to drop it down to about a 5.5, or a 6.2 to maybe 6, maybe 5.8 or so. A little more acidic in the coco coir.